Hello. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to turn off my fan on my, not my fan, my keyboard. I'm talking to myself, I know, but in case somebody comes back and watches the replay, you need to know what I'm doing. Um, I mean, you might not care, but you might want to know. Okay. There we go. Is that better? Okay. I don't know what is going on, but my jaw hurts so bad. It feels locked today. I don't like it. No me gusta. It hurts. It's barely started. I don't know, maybe an hour and a half ago. It's terrible. But since nobody's here. So I went and got my um what's up, Nicole? I was just talking to myself. I was just saying how oops. Um my jaw. I don't know what's going on today, but right here it feels locked today. I feel like some TMJ is oh you felt I don't blame you. I did that too because I have the same problem. But mine is usually right here. Like look at you can see it right here, right now. Mine is usually in the front, right in the front of my flipping head. And I always thought it was dandruff my whole life. I did not know that it wasn't. I always thought it was dandruff. And then I was talking to my dermatologist and I was like, I need something because this is driving me crazy. I there's no rhyme or reason for it. It just happens when it happens. But when it does happen, it's really, really, really frustrating. The flakes are gigantic and they're terrible. And look, they're on my forehead too. And then they're just ugly. They're terrible. Hello there, amiga. How are you? And she was telling me, Delilah, you do not have dandruff. So what the hell is it then? It's something. It you obviously don't see it, but it's something. And hey Day, how are you feeling? Any better? How's the head? Any luck with the refill on the sumatriptan? Yeah, I mean, mine vary. They can be any size, but I normally get the most irritated with them and I notice them the most, obviously, when they're really big. I've had some as big as like my fingernail, like this piece. I know it's not focusing, but like this piece by itself, but huge and like as fat around. They're maybe not without the tip, right? They're horrid. Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear it. I'm so glad. Suddenly there is a fly or some sort of flying insect. I hear it. I was just talking to myself before Nicole got here, but my jaw has been locking on like about an hour and a half now. It hurts. I don't know what's happening. So I went and grabbed a nerve pill. Oh, thank you. Um, I'm not feeling great today, like emotionally. Like I feel fine physically, but emotionally, I don't feel well. So because I don't feel good today, I decided I'm going to try to work through it. And the way that I decided I would try to do that is by little thing, right? So I decided to put some lipstick on. And then I put lip liner on. And then I didn't like the way it looked without at least mascara. And so yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. But my jaw, I don't know what's going other than my jaw, I feel okay. And the rosacea that's been kicking in all day. Um, yeah, I don't know. But how are you guys doing today? I hope everybody's all right. And I don't know what else is going on, but I don't know if it's because my jaw hurts or what, but I am rubbing my tongue raw against the backs of my teeth. And I don't know why. Like, I feel like I feel like it's like a nervous tick and I don't know what's happening. Yeah, this camera, it does not pick up the redness. Trust me, I'm way more red. Oh, my mom called. Oh, crap. Let me see what she wants. Hold on. What's up? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Works for me. Cool. Thanks. Like real alcohol or beer? I know real alcohol you cannot, but I think only wine. But I'll look. But mom, I gotta go. I told you I had to do something at 4. Okay, bye. Before I forget, let me text her. Just text me what you want me to find out. I forgot what we were talking about. Can you hear me? Um, oh, that's what I was getting my phone for, because I put it on Do Not Disturb already. I do look much less red in here, but I am still very red. All right here, on both sides of my cheeks. But like you can see, do you see how right here is like a circle of a different color? That's because everything else around it is red on both sides. Do you see that? Do you see how there's a big spot right here? Because it's not red. And then right here, how it's a different color? Because everything else is red. It's terrible. Yeah, I don't know what's going. It's some sort of nervous tick with my mouth today, and I think it's because my jaw hurts. Or did I cause the pain in my jaw by the constant moving of my? I don't know. I don't know. I have had I mean, I have TMJ. I've had it since I was a teenager. So it could, and actually, I would say maybe the last 5 years, it's the best it's ever been. I used to, it would like literally, I would have to, with all of my might, push my thumb back into the joint and release it. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's not that strong. It's only 30 milligrams. I don't know. Like, I don't feel abnormal other than just mentally not feeling that great. Mhm. No idea. So that's how I decided that I would try to work through it. Um, I don't know. I don't think you guys can see it, but my tongue is like raw in the tip. It's so irritating. Mm. But let me see. I tried to beat you guys to having. So oh look, that took away all of the comments. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they just started me out at 30 milligrams as a starting dose for an adult. That's where they started me. Yeah, TMJ sucks. But it's not that that bad the last few years. Suddenly today though, it hurts. But I'm not trying to like before when it would lock, I couldn't open my mouth more than this. Like I could move my lips around, but like where my teeth are, I couldn't open them more. They're stuck. They would be stuck. And right now, I can until right here. Do you see that? Oh, did you hear that? Watch. Well, not watch. You can't watch, but listen. Oh crap! Did you hear that? Yeah, it's terrible. There is a 20 milligram dose. Um, apparently there's also a 10. but those are not the recommended starting doses for adults. Yeah, it's no joke. It hurts a lot. It's really tight. And this one feels fine, but this one is super tight and my jaw feels crooked. And I think it's because it's just so tense because it hurts. But I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Before though, there would be no rhyme or reason. TMJ needs no rhyme or reason. It just does what it does. So I don't know, but it hurts. This is why I don't chew gum. I can't chew gum because it'll lock my jaw. If I ever have to chew gum, I will only chew half a piece or even less, and only for a couple minutes, and then I have to spit it out because then it'll lock. Oh, Nicole, you would have TMJ too, huh? When I open my mouth, my jaw dislocates, and when I shut it, it pops back in. That's terrible. Mine's on the right. Well, today's the first day that I took the Vyvanse, but my flipping jaw hurts. But my psychiatrist told me that that it's recommended that on my days off that I don't take it. Just apparently that when you take it every single day, your body builds a tolerance to it so much more faster than if you just take it, every so many, like if you take a break during the week, right? And so preferably at least 2 days off during the week. And ideally that would be my 2 days off because I don't have to have as much focus on things. Whereas on the days that I'm working, I need a lot more focus. So, so he's recommended that I, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my days off, but I've been working on at least one of them every day or week. So he's having me try to take it off at least one of those days. And then when I do have 2 days off, take it off both of those days. So I'll be able to see. I do work this Tuesday, but I don't work Wednesday. So I can see then. Oh, flipping hurts. Because otherwise I would have no reason to not take it. And it's so hot. My face is so hot. But that could be the rosacea or the lock. But I feel so much better. I don't know. Today's barely my first day. I mean, I'm always very, very, very forgetful. And well, not always, but more recently, I've been more forgetful. Um, because I just have so much on my mind. Like I'm not like my brain doesn't stop to like hear what you're saying, or my brain doesn't stop to like focus on what's going on. So I'm not able to retain. I'm not like really making memories, right? Because my brain is constantly everywhere else. And even though like right now I'm talking to you and I'm thinking about the book, but I'm also singing a song in my head, and I'm also trying to remember what did we plan for dinner this week to make sure I have all of the ingredients. And I'm mentally going through the list in my head, like, oh, we have this, we have that, because I can't stay on task ever. And I don't think that I will be able to stay on task at 30 milligrams either, since, even the Concerta, the starting dose is 30 milligrams, and I got, I think, to 60, and then I stopped because I didn't like it. But I only took it for 6 months. I didn't like it though. And we'll see what happens here. Then you'll eventually need a higher dose or a different ADHD pill. Exactly. But in the meantime, let's try it and see what happens. And today's barely, because it was, okay, remember how I was asking, I know Day you weren't there, but remember I was asking why it's on back order? Like, why is it on back order? Why is it like almost impossible for me to get this flipping pill filled, right? I was like so frustrated, couldn't figure it out. Then I remembered there was a recall recently for the generic version of Vyvanse actually in every single strength. And it was like whatever lots, and until sometime in 2024, I think November of 2024. So obviously some places are still dispensing those. But because of that recall, there's a back order on them. So that explains why it was so hard to get a hold of. Um, do you hear that? Is he like stuck behind the blinds? I hope he stays in the blinds. Um, yeah, that's the reason why I never went on Vyvanse before, because um, it was always out of stock. It was always on back order. It was always everything, right? Let's see, because I don't know if he's stuck in there or what, but he's annoying. I hear you. Oh, there you are. Yep, well, I don't know what good that does. What am I gonna kill him with my brush? Stay in there. It's a fly. He's gonna stay in there, I guess. What in the? It's a fly. Earlier though, last week, sometime I found a hornet or a wasp in the house. Two of them. But anyways, so we are 16 minutes in, you guys. Do you guys want to start the book? Today we have chapter 2 of Let Them. No supply issues with regular release either. Oh, really? Well, that's good. The reason I decided that I would go back on Vyvanse is, one, because I'm getting on my own nerves, but two, because it is also FDA approved for binge eating disorder. That right there is going to get me, this is going to get age restricted because I just said that word. Or whatever. Because it's FDA approved for BED, I decided why not try it, see if it could help combat the extra food crap going on in my head. It's the only reason why I decided to ask for that pill specifically, instead of going in and just saying, hey, I've been on all of these things before. I really didn't like the way they worked for me. You never know. I'm older now. They could work, but I need something. Instead, I came in saying, this is what's happening to me. This is what I want to take. Can I take that? So that's where we're at. But anyways, I'm so glad that you're feeling better, Day. Nicole, what did you find out about the adult cradle cap? I don't know what to call it. I just call it adult cradle cap. Adult cradle cap. You guys, I put in some brand new earrings today. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's probably what's happening to me because I'm in perimenopause. It's probably why it got worse. But I put in some brand new earrings today. And I walked home from the grocery store. Tell me why halfway through my walk, I realized that my earring was missing. One of them. The other one was still in, but it was missing. I don't know what happened to it. And my mom called me while I was walking. And so I don't know if when I put my earpiece in, it came out. I don't know, but it's gone and I'm sad. You paused your rabbit hole. Hey, Keely, how are you? So, okay, guys. Amiga, where are you? Are you ready? Because where's my book? Here it is. I had adult. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm having a crappy mind day, so I decided that I would try to make myself feel better by doing a little thing. And my little thing was lip liner. But then I realized I didn't like the way it looked without at least some eyelashes. So I just put some mascara on. My rosacea is acting up. My jaw is locking. For some reason, I'm having this weird, anxious, nervous tick with my tongue. Hey, damn it, Johnny. up? How are you doing today, amiga? So I'm a hot mess today, but I had adult cradle cap once about 15 years ago, and now I'm diagnosed with rosacea. If you have PCOS, I didn't know this because it's a little known symptom. I mean, it is a fairly regular symptom, but people don't know that it's associated with PCOS. What I call adult cradle cap is a symptom of PCOS. And I've had it my whole life, and I always thought it was dandruff, but it's not. Because dandruff is a fungus, which I didn't know. I thought it was just peeling scalp, right? I thought it was just flaky scalp. It's not, it's a fungus. Or a yeast or something. Yeast, fungus, same thing, right? Okay. How are you doing today? How's little Lukey? How's little Lukey? Are you guys ready to start chapter 2? Amiga, where are you? You haven't even, where'd you go? Are you in the shower and that you can't type? I'm just trying to figure out what speed did you have it on because I don't want to put it too fast. Let me see what speed I have it on. Because she does talk fast. I have it at 1.2. It's okay. You could be in the clouds. You could be in the, you could be wherever. Just, we're glad to have you around. We're glad you stopped by to say hello. Boss baby needs his attention. Yeah, then that's probably why you have adult cradle cap. So, chapter 2, you guys. I could put it on 2 times speed. It won't bother me, but it'll bother some of you. Hey, Grace, how are you?
Chapter 2, getting started. Let them and let me.
This is 2
In
times.
this chapter, you and I are going to dig deeper into the let them theory. You're going to learn how to use the 2 steps of the theory, and we're going to dig into fascinating research in psychology. We're going to talk about stoicism.
Okay, first, is it too low in volume, or is it too loud, or is it fine? Second, is that too fast? Because it doesn't bother me to listen to her that fast. That's what I thought. I started out having her at 1.2. So let's see. Yeah, we're all a hot mess today. Okay, so let me put it louder.
All of the deep reasons why the let them theory is so powerful.
How about that? Is that good? And then I'll rewind it to the beginning. It's only 27 seconds in, but is this
and why it's going to work?
Is this a good volume?
And the way that I want to jump into this is by telling you a story. So not too long after I discovered the let them theory, I was just sitting on my couch.
That's 1.25. Is that okay? I'll just start it over.
Chapter 2.
Okay, is it too loud or too low, or is it fine? Do I need to increase the volume? Because we cannot play it at regular speed because it'll instantly get flagged and then it'll stop the stream. But if we play it a little bit sped up, 9 times out of 10, it won't trigger anything. Yeah, my mic's super sensitive and I have it really close, so I figured it would pick it up. But okay, so let's start chapter 2. Oh, I forgot my book. It's okay.
Getting started. Let them and let me. In this chapter, you and I are going to dig deeper into the let them theory. You're going to learn how to use the 2 steps of the theory, and we're going to dig into fascinating research in psychology. We're going to talk about stoicism, all of the deep reasons why the let them theory is so powerful and why it's going to work. And the way that I want to jump into this is by telling you a story. So not too long after I discovered the let them theory, I was just sitting on my couch, scrolling through social media, and I saw this photo of an old friend of mine, and she looked fantastic. And so naturally, I glanced down to read the caption, and in it, she described this amazing weekend she had just had with her friends. And I could tell she meant it because of the photos. She was tan and happy and relaxed and refreshed. And I found myself thinking, wow, I could really use a weekend like that. Hell, I could just use a spray tan at this point. And so I started swiping through the carousel of photos, and I realized, oh my gosh, this is photo after photo of an absolutely amazing weekend away with a bunch of women. They were at brunch and dancing and shopping and laughing and swimming and cocktails. And then I saw this group photo and somebody was wearing a really cute dress. So I took my thumb and my finger and I started to pinch so I could zoom in for a closer look.
First question, and a genuine question. Do you guys have friends like that? Do you guys have friends that you can go on a vacation with like that? Because I don't. And I don't know if it's just me and that's why I don't understand that part, or or if it's just like most adults, especially adults who no longer live somewhere that they grew up, right? I live somewhere that I moved to as an adult where I didn't know anybody. I don't work in, I mean, I did work in the office for a little while, but I don't work in office. So I don't meet people like in person. I don't, the people I see most regularly are the people at my doctor's office and the pharmacy. But do you, like, is it just me who don't have friends like this? Am I the only person who lives a life of solitude?
Only to realize I knew every single one of the women smiling back at me on the screen. My heart sank. My friends had all gone away together. You know that awful feeling in your stomach? The one that hits you the moment you realize that you've been left out? It feels like a punch, right? You try to brush it off. You tell yourself, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But the hurt's real. And I know I should have put my phone down. I didn't. You know what I did? I looked at those photos one by one, watching a girls' trip through the eyes of the very same women that I'd raised my kids with in our small town. And I tried not to let it bother me, but it did. My mind started to fill in all the details. I imagined how much fun they were having and how close they'd all become. I had known these women for years. We had bonded over barbecues and carpools and soccer games and date nights with our spouses and hard conversations about parenthood. So naturally, I just started to spiral. I'm talking full stalker mode. I sat there on that same spot on the couch. I felt the couch meld to my back as I was poring not just over the photos, but then I went to each and every one of their accounts. And here's the weird thing. 5 minutes before, I had been perfectly fine. But now, well, now I was sitting here feeling this familiar swirl of emotions, from rejection to insecurity to confusion to hurt. I started thinking, well, when did they plan this? Why wasn't I included? Why am I never invited anywhere? When was the last time I went away with friends? And I just kept scrolling and scrolling through their photos and turning these questions over and over in my mind. And at some point, Chris must have walked into the room because I heard him go, what's wrong? I told him the truth. I just found out a bunch of my friends went away for the weekend on a really fun trip, and I obviously wasn't included. That sucks. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe they're mad at me. He crossed his arms and he asked me, why do you care so much? It's not like you're close friends with them anymore, Mel. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear. But I knew he was right. But I still felt this urge to reach out and just, I don't know, smooth things over. Have you ever experienced that before? You find out you're not included in something and all you want is some kind of reassurance that there wasn't something that you'd done wrong. Because
Let me tell you, I may not have friends like that, but I'm the youngest of all of my girl cousins, right? So, well, actually, there's two more younger than me, but they didn't come until like 10 years later almost. Um, so that we didn't really grow up together. But I'm the baby of all of my girl cousins, right? And so the one next to me is 2 years older. And my whole life, I always felt like I was just chasing after their attention, just chasing after them. How come I wasn't included? How come I wasn't included? Why am I always being left out? Because they saw me as a baby, because I was a literal baby, right? Like I'm 2 years behind the youngest one of them. That's, as a, a young teen, a teenager, that's a lot. That's a big age difference, but I didn't understand that. I just felt left out. And that was like, so when I heard her talking about this the first time I heard it, I was like, yeah, I've been there. I've wondered, what did I do? How come they don't like me? Why are they not paying attention to me? What? But then again, we're also family, and family tend to be very strange with each other sometimes. Hey, Evelyn, how are you? How are you? See, I'm not. It's a terrible feeling to have, Michelle, and I'm so sorry that you felt that way. Um, but let's figure out how we can conquer that feeling.
honestly, I didn't know. And if you're anything like me, when it happens, you immediately assume that you've done something wrong. And so as I sat there on the couch and I'm like racking my brain for any evidence as to why I'm not included, and that almost made me more nervous. We had known each other for years. We had gone through early motherhood together and had lived a lot of life together. And I really liked everyone who was on that trip. But at the same time, I hadn't really spent time with them as a group in a long, long time. I'd seen them around town at large gatherings, but I hadn't invested in those individual friendships. I hadn't planned anything fun or reached out to them recently either. Now, in my mind, I knew this, but in my heart, I was devastated. I felt like I was in middle school again, left out of the sleepover, or the one who didn't make the team, or who wasn't part of the inside joke. I felt myself wanting to reach out and just try to fix it. Call, text, anything to make the anxiety that I was starting to feel go away. And that's when these two words came in and saved me from myself. Let them. See, the old me would have obsessed over this for days. Well, for weeks, really. And my emotions, they would have definitely gotten the best of me. I would have tried to pretend it didn't bother me. Have you ever tried to do that? It doesn't work, does it? I would have tried to convince myself that, oh, I don't care. I would have tried to rationalize it over and over in my mind. And ultimately, I would have turned my friends into villains in order to make me feel better. Oh, well, those stuck-up people think they're bad. All of which would have made me feel worse and withdraw. But thanks to the let them theory, that didn't happen. It bothered me for about 10 minutes. As soon as I said, let them, I felt a little better. The second time I said it, I felt a little better. The third, fourth, fifth, 16th, 30th time I said it, I felt a little better. And I'm going to be honest, right up front with you. In these types of painful situations where you feel left out or someone hurts your feelings or somebody breaks up with you, you're going to have to keep saying, let them, over and over. Because when something hurts, the hurt doesn't just disappear. It rises up again and again as you process it. So don't be surprised when you find yourself having to repeat, let them, again and again. Let them go on the trip. Let them take the weekend together. Let them have their fun without you. And at first, those words, they are going to feel like a rejection. It's almost like you feel like you might be giving in. But then you're going to realize something very important. Saying let them isn't about giving in. It's about releasing yourself from the control that you never had over this situation in the first place.
When I heard her say that, I've said it from the beginning. This isn't a radical new theory, right? Like this isn't like she didn't reinvent the wheel. She's literally just telling us things that are just like, I don't know, for lack of better words, common sense. But it wasn't that common because I didn't get it. But I don't know, hearing that was like, I can't change it, but I can control the way that I feel about it. And I don't want to feel sad and I don't want to be left out and I don't want to feel rejected. You know, I've dealt with rejection my entire life. I don't want to continue to feel that way. So I'm just going to be glad that they had a good time together. And maybe one day I'll be able to have a good time with them too. And if not, oh well, I'll have a good time by myself. Thing is, I feel like this, but also know that I am the one most likely to cancel. And there's that. And also dread when I confirm plans and it gets near because I can never be bothered. So I also get it. I understand that too. And that was like a really, really hard thing for me for a really long time because I worked 3 full-time jobs. And every time people would tell me, oh, come, we're going to have a party, or oh, we're going to go here, or oh, we're going to go camping, I couldn't get time off of work. You know, I couldn't afford to get time off of work, even if I could get the time off approved. So eventually people just stopped inviting me to do things because I was always saying no. And it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be butthurt that they went and had a good time, maybe they were butthurt that I kept saying no. So I don't know. But just, I don't know, just hearing somebody say, I've gone through this too. I've dealt with this too. But the way that I have chosen to move forward with it is by just letting go of the emotion that I feel towards it, because it's probably not even anything to do, it probably was not meant to make me feel that way. They probably didn't even think twice about me or care if I saw it, right? Like they weren't thinking about me because I was going to tell them no anyways. Or I'm in another flipping state, 1,700 miles away. What are they going to do? Call me to come over for the weekend? Like that's not happening. So I don't know, just hearing somebody put it into words, and understanding that somebody else can let it go, then I can too. Right? I just had to let them. It is common sense, but in the moment I didn't realize it. Exactly. It's like when you're feeling it, it doesn't feel like common sense. I'm an introvert extra wait, I'm an introvert extrovert. That must be a very, very exhausting life. I need my alone time just to rejuvenate. I don't blame you at all. I need my alone time all the time too. And I'm just an introvert. That's the only thing you control is your feelings. Exactly. Exactly. It is the only thing that I can control. And sometimes I can't even control it, but I can try.
Because just stop and think about the story I'm telling you. Was there anything that I could do to change what happened? No. So no matter how much time and energy I poured into analyzing it or wishing I could control it or fix it, it would never change what happened. And besides, their choice to go away, it doesn't have to make me feel bad. Heck, I didn't even know about it earlier in the day. It was my attempt to control the situation that was making me feel horrible. Let them.
It was a really, really hard pill to swallow to understand that a lot of this all comes down to me just wanting to feel in control. Think, why do I always need to be in control? Because I never had any as a kid. I don't know. You're right. She's not saying anything new or innovative. Just it's just needing to hear. When you're ready to receive it, the message is critical. Exactly. So people do it internally to others. I'm learning to say let them. It does hurt in the moments. Yeah, I get it intentionally. Sorry guys, my jaw hurts really bad, so I'm a little off today. I need alone time. I'm not shy. That's what I mean. Oh, I am. Like if you met me in person, I'm a completely different person in person because I'm just in person. I'm very shy. I'm very like quiet, but eventually I'll start talking when I get used to you. And then when I get used to you, I won't shut up. I am very intentional on who I let into my life gets my energy. Exactly. I am too. I'm not everybody is worthy of my attention. Just kidding. Not my attention, but like for me to invite somebody into my life is a big deal because I've spent my entire life fighting off people who didn't have good intentions in my life. And so now that I'm an adult, I can make those decisions on my own. I definitely need my alone time. Absolutely. I don't blame you, Nicole. Did you do a lip and all? Yes, I did. It's a cheap lip liner. It's called Black Currant from Italia Deluxe. Come on. Of course, it doesn't want to focus, but there it is. Italia Deluxe Black Currant. This color. Oh, are you serious? Okay. It's just this color. All I did was put a lip liner on. All I did was line it. I didn't even put it on the inside. I just lined it and dragged it in with the chapstick. I was saying earlier that I'm not in a very good mental space today, so I was trying to feel better. And I thought one way that I can do that is by putting on some lip liner. So here I am. Nicole, I'm not diagnosed. We're pretty sure I have it too. Wait a minute. Have what? What did I miss? Have what too? Are we talking about PCOS? I think that's the only thing we really talked about earlier, right? Or ADHD? I don't know. I don't remember. Sorry. I forgot. At least I wasn't alone. See, Nicole didn't even know. Exactly. I had a chaotic, unstable childhood, a lot of trauma. So I'm very careful who gets my energy because I am fiercely loyal and give. Exactly. I'm exactly the same way. Exactly the same. I didn't have stability as a kid. And so I refused to give that stability away to people now as an adult. I control that as best as I can. And it goes back to me needing to be in control.
And just like that, the knot in my chest, it began to loosen. And this pressure to fix the situation and this fear that I had done something wrong, it just started to fade. And I realized something, their weekend, it had nothing to do with me. It wasn't personal. They're not plotting against me. They're not making a statement about my worth or whether or not I deserve to have fun times with friends. And even if they were making a statement, let them. In these types of painful situations, you're going to have to keep saying, let them, over and over.
Just so you know, Grace, you could be diagnosed with ADHD and never need to take medication. You don't need medicine. I've been off of medication for most of my life, actually. I think I've only been medicated for it like maybe 5 years in total. I'm back on it again because I'm getting on my own MF nerves. So if I'm getting on I keep saying this, and I know it sounds funny, but I don't mean it like that. I really am getting on my own nerves. Like I'm constantly interrupting myself even. So I can't even imagine what other people nobody interacts with me but him. I can't even imagine what other people feel around me right now. So if I'm irritating me, I could imagine I'm irritating the shit out of him. Oops, sorry. Um, so because of that, I decided that I would go back on for a while and see what happens. 100%. I don't. What for? What for? What do I need it in there for? But sometimes, honestly, it does help you so that you can understand other approaches at the way you think about things or handle things or the way that your brain works. Sometimes we kind of feel like we're just broken or wired wrong, but really we're just different, right? Like we just have a different way of walking through life. And sometimes having those diagnoses does help you to at least look and see like, okay, well, people with say ADHD or whatever, how do they learn how to do blank or whatever? How do they handle when they get overwhelmed with these kinds of things? Like there's different approaches that could help you to not always feel so broken. I mean, I don't know if you feel broken, but I do. I always feel broken, but it helps me to not feel as broken. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean it that way for myself. I'm irritated with myself sometimes. Exactly. I say it all the time. And like when I told my psychiatrist that and I was like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it is a funny statement, but I'm not trying to be funny. Like I'm being serious. But yeah, it's funny. It makes me laugh even. Yeah, I have enough other stuff going on. Right. I have so much crap going on. My husband helped me realize people don't really care the way I think they do or the way that I do because I care so deeply. So now I just let people be people. Exactly. It's kind of like unforgiveness, right? We sit there and we like just contemplate on whatever wrong they did to us, right? Or whatever perceived wrong. Because sometimes it's not even that they did something, but just whatever perceived wrong, right? We sit there and it just grows and grows and grows inside of us and we're angry about it, we're hurt about it, we're whatever we are about it, and we can't forgive them over it. But you know what? That person ain't giving two craps about you. They're probably not even thinking about you. They probably forgot all about what happened. It probably wasn't even that way. And I'm over here festering on it. And I'm the one that's growing this gigantic ball of hatred towards a situation, not necessarily a person, but a situation. For what? I'm the only one that cares about it. They don't care about it. That was another hard pill to swallow. I feel like there's just one more thing going on with me. Exactly. I mean, we all have something that we're just all, I don't know, stuck on.
Because when something hurts, the hurt doesn't just disappear. It rises up again and again. So don't be surprised when you find yourself in a situation, whether it's being left out or somebody's hurt your feelings or you get laid off or you didn't get into your dream school or somebody breaks up with you, that you're going to have to keep repeating, let them, again and again. So let's talk about what we're really trying to control. Because we all have moments where we try to control the world around us. And that's especially true when you feel hurt or left out or annoyed or afraid. For example, maybe you found yourself trying to manage every detail of a group plan to make sure everyone is included and everybody's happy. Or maybe you've stressed about whether people are upset with you. Or have you ever been in a situation or someone's not responding to your messages right away, and now all of a sudden you're super stressed out about whether or not they're upset with you. It's exhausting, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I'm a fixer by nature. I spent most of my life believing that if I didn't step in, if I didn't manage a situation, then things are going to fall apart. If I didn't do it, it's never going to get done. I had to be the one who kept everything together, whether it's relationships or work or friendships or the weekend plans, even the emotions of the people I love. And when something didn't go the way I expected, I used to feel like it was a reflection on me. If someone was upset, if something didn't work out, if I wasn't included, I automatically thought, okay, I have to fix this. I got to change it. I got to control it. And even if you're not like this, you probably love someone who is. And every time they get into that mode where they're just go, 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 and they just take care of everything, you freeze. You don't know what to do. That's the way that my husband is. And that's not good either. These are examples of what we do when we feel like things are out of control. I'm the kind of person that jumps into overdrive. My husband feels more in control and safe if he takes a step back. In both of these reactions to stressful situations, you're losing your power. In talking to so many psychologists while researching this book, I learned that the urge to control things comes from a very primal place. Fear. Fear of being excluded, of not being liked, of getting in trouble, of doing something wrong, or of things falling apart if we're not the ones steering the ship or if we get in the way. And it shows up in all kinds of ways. We hover over our kids, making sure they make the right decisions. We try to influence our partner's habits and worry that if we don't step in, somehow they're going to get it wrong. We even impose our opinions on friends, believing we know better than they do about how their lives should unfold. Now, I've felt this fear a lot in my life. Fear that if I didn't make things happen, I'd be forgotten. Fear that I wouldn't be liked or accepted. Fear that without me doing everything, things would unravel. And let's be real.
You know, one thing that I realized is that I'm one of those people who are just like that, right? Like, I need to fix it. I need to plan it. I need to do all of that, right? And I recently realized that I think a lot of me felt like if I wasn't planning, if I wasn't doing all the work, would I even be included? Like, what's my job if it's not that, right? And if I'm not doing that, why would they invite me? Does that make sense?
Control gives you the illusion of safety. When you're in control, you believe you can protect yourself from pain, disappointment, rejection. But it's just that. It's an illusion. Because no matter how much you try to control people or situations, the truth is, you can't. People will do what they want to do. They're going to make their own choices and they're going to live their own lives. The fact is, none of that control, whether it's you doing, or you taking a step back and freezing, actually makes you feel better. In fact, it has the opposite effect. Trying to control people and situations, it's not going to calm your fears. It amplifies them. Any psychologist will tell you the more you try to control something you can't, the more anxious and stressed out you become. Sitting on that couch staring at my phone, I started to realize I wasn't just trying to control what my friends thought of me. I was trying to control my own emotional discomfort. I hated feeling rejected. So my immediate reaction was to try to just fix the situation and figure out what I had done wrong so that I didn't have to feel anything at all. And that's when the let them theory started to kick in at a much deeper level for me. Let me give you another example of how this works. Let's say that you're at a meeting at work, right? And you've come up with an idea and you're super excited about it. You've put a lot of thought into it and you know it has potential. But when you pitch it, crickets. The room goes quiet. I mean, people, yeah, they nod politely, but then they move on. And before you know it, someone else's idea is getting all the attention. How do you feel in that moment? Well, I know how I feel. I feel unappreciated. I feel invisible. I then start second guessing myself. And then I wonder if I should have said it differently or tried a little harder, or maybe I'm not smart enough, or I'll make up some story about the person whose idea it was, that they're the favorite. And they always get the attention. I'm sure you can relate to that because we all do it. And here's what I want to highlight. In that moment, when people dismiss an idea and then politely nod, you get to choose. Are you going to let this dismissal crush you? Or are you going to say, let them?
I know we're learning, but it is not always easy to do that, though. Big facts, especially with dealing with adult children. I don't have adult children. I don't have any children, but adult people are harder to deal with than young people sometimes. I don't know why that is. I have those feelings exactly about some of my YouTube videos. What, control? That if you're not controlling it, wait, what? What did I miss? 'Cause I think I missed something. I used to need to control so bad because I wanted to feel needed so bad. If I had all the answers and solutions, then people would need me. Excuse me. No, I agree. I often feel like that too. But I also just like learning. I also just like knowing things. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword because I sometimes I don't know what part of me is doing it just to be needed or what part of me is doing it because I just like to learn. Not sure. I have a 20-year-old college student and he's my best teacher. I'm practicing let him, let them. Right. Of course it doesn't mean that we don't love them. We love them enough to let them. We love them so much, let them.
Let them dismiss it. Let them go with a different idea. I mean, their response doesn't change the value of your idea. It doesn't change your worth as a contributor. They might have gone with a different strategy, but that doesn't mean your idea wasn't great. You're still the same person with the same talents and the ability to succeed. And the fact that you had an idea to pitch first it. Let them. And in fact, if you want to be successful at work and successful in business or successful as an entrepreneur, you need this. Because one of the keys to being successful is being able to hear rejection and go, let them, and move on. Every single successful entrepreneur has the same story. There were 100 people that said no before someone said yes. And the same is going to be true with you. Here's the difference. You now have the let them theory. So you're going to be able to hear the rejection, say, let them. And then you're going to say, let me. Find the next one and move on. And the same thing goes for dating. Maybe you've been texting someone and you think things are going somewhere, but then out of nowhere, they ghost you. Like no response, no explanation. It stings.
But why do you have to fix it at all, Nicole? Even if it was a big, gigantic problem, it's not your job to fix it. It's his job. He's an adult. I know it's not easy to think about that. I know it's not easy to say, wait a minute. They are an adult. They can do it themselves. Because we need to control. We need to be in control. If we let go of the control, we can let them mess up and we can let them correct their mess ups. But let me tell you something. If we never, ever let them figure it out, they're going to go their entire lives never being able to get themselves out of the hole that they dug. And it's a very, very, very valuable lesson that everybody needs to learn. Well, my parents were neglectful raising me, so I overcompensate trying to fix things for my son. It was my way of showing how I loved him unconditionally. I understand. Many of us who have parents who weren't there for us the way that we needed them to be feel that way. But why do you think if you think he has no common sense, did you ever let him figure things out? Ever, even as a kid? That's how they learn. That's how we learn. That's how I learn, right? I learn by figuring it out. If nobody ever let me figure it out, where would I be today? Not like I'm super well accomplished, but still. That's why my husband had success being an entrepreneur. He doesn't care about rejection. I need to learn that too. How do we learn that? I want to learn that. Sign me up for that class. Well, I have to catch the rest on replay. We arrived at Busch Gardens. Hey, have fun. Enjoy, Grace. Exactly. There's a bigger or more costly problem. Yes, but it's their problem to fix. Not your problem to fix. It's their problem. I don't know it's not easy to say that or do that, but it's reality, right? Because one day you're not going to be here anymore. And who's going to fix it for them? If they didn't learn how to fix it for themselves, who's going to fix it? When mom's not here to do it anymore. Now what? I get on my mom about that all the time with my little brother. I know it's not easy to let go, but I tell her, think about it, Mom. You are not young. You're not a spring chicken. One day you are going to die. And hopefully it'll be before he does, right? Because he's still very young. And we hope that he has a very long life. But what's going to happen when he falls into a mistake that he made and he can't get out of it? And you're not here to fix it. And I'm not here to fix it. what's going to happen to him? We're only going to make him suffer more. Sunshine, I completely relate and do the same. I was in care. I was in care due to neglect and abuse, and I completely overcompensate. Exactly. I understand that most of us were raised the same, apparently. But let him wait. But what left to him, he won't fix it. Then that's his problem. Not everything needs to be fixed. Not everything needs to be fixed, even by him or by you. Yes, of course, some things do. I mean, if the house was on fire, somebody needs to try to get it out. Hopefully, it'll be the fireman and not you. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, not everything needs a solution. And it's okay. It is okay.
It always hurts when somebody does that to you. And then you start to wonder, what did you do wrong? And you start replaying every conversation in your head, and then you're trying to figure out what went off the rails. Then there's the temptation to text them again to find out some way to get closure. I mean, it's almost overwhelming. And I think every single one of us has been there at some point. But that's where the let them theory comes in. You're going to say, let them. Let them ghost you. Let them disappear. Let them show you who they are. Their disrespect doesn't say anything about you. How you respond does. So stop asking yourself, why are they doing this to me? Because the question is, why do you want to be with someone who does this to you? You don't. Don't.
That part. I'm a terrible responder. When somebody pisses me off, when I feel disrespected, I just shut down. Like, I shut down and literally walk away. Because if I don't remove myself from the situation, I'm going to allow it to continue. And I will be damned if I let it continue. I have found that my children are more capable and able than I treat them. Exactly. Well, my older kids. How old are your kids, Keely? And they are pretty able to do things and just rather I do it. Of course, they'd rather you do it. Of course, they'd rather have mommy fix it because they get to be lazy. I want to be lazy. I want other people to fix things. But if somebody else tried to fix it, I don't know if I would let them. So I don't know. His car solution was to buy a motorcycle, meaning me buy it here in Northeast Ohio to get to school and work. Are you kidding me? Shaking my head. I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. It might not make sense to you, but it made sense to him. And if he wants to buy a motorcycle, that'll be his responsibility to pay for it. Am I saying that we have to always let them? No. But if you don't let them fix small things, they're not going to know how to fix big things. Just period. They're not. They're nearly 8. You do not have an 18-year-old and 18, 17, 13, and 4. Wow. I never in my millions of years would have guessed. I try to give them grace. I think that's my problem. Is that you try to give them grace? I think that's a great way to respond. God has grace with me, so I try to give it to others, but I don't understand how that's a problem because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful attribute to have. A lot of us can't do that. Well, that hit hard, learning to set those boundaries. Exactly. A lot of us are codependent. I'm codependent too. And a lot of parents are codependent with their children. I have codependent issues, so learning to not allow people to treat me in any way they want is hard. Yes, it is very, very hard, but we have to. Like, I have a friend right now, and maybe that's why the rosacea is acting up because of stress, right? So I have a friend, and her and I have been friends. I don't know, like 12 years, 13 years. It has to be longer than that. I don't know, whatever, a lot of years, right? We've been friends for a lot of years. I knew her when she was pregnant with her first daughter, and her first daughter's like 12. So, her and I have been friends all that time. And she's had the same partner all that time. And he's not a good partner. And he's never been, and he's never gonna be. And when I hear her telling me about what's happening, it's like, what's up? Hi. It's like I don't know, it just hurts my heart to hear the way that she allows somebody to treat her, you know? And you're gonna come say hi? Okay, come say hi.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
I don't know if they heard you.
Can you hear me? How's everybody's day?
Mhm.
No, they can't see.
Well, it's delayed by like 10 seconds or something. Oopsie, look. Hi, David.
Everybody's chilling.
We're doing book club.
Oh, okay. Book
Oh,
club.
look at your sunglasses. Those are sunglasses, right? Not just big eyeballs. They kind of look like big eyeballs. No, you're gone? You're done
I
talking?
just wanted to say hi.
Okay, he just wanted to say hi. They said that's the homie right there. Fix it. Okay. Oh, sorry. I mean, I have a 13-year-old and a 4. Wait, hold on. Now I need to go back. Who's the 18 and 17-year-old? Do you have 4 kids? You said 4 kids. So how old are the other kids? I'm confused. Don't worry, I stay confused. A motorcycle in the snow and cold, and he doesn't even have a motorcycle license. But that's okay. That's okay. He'll learn that it's not something that he can do. Or he'll learn that he's really great at it. You don't know. People own motorcycles in all kinds of weather. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell them in places that get freezing. I'm so confused. How old are your children, Keely? We have to train people how to treat us. I'm setting boundaries, bumpers with people, family, and friends. Some are shocked, upset, supportive, or just want me to be the old me. Yes, that's a really hard one too, especially when we've allowed them to treat us in a certain way for so long and suddenly we want better from them. It's like, how dare you want better from me? You've allowed me to treat you this way for all these years. But it really hurts my heart to see what she's going through with him. And I just keep telling her, you're going to do what you're going to do. I can't control you. If I had it my way, you would not be in this relationship, but whatever, that's between you and him. However, I just want you to know that you deserve somebody who loves you the way that you love them and somebody who treats you the way that you treat them. Period. Oh, Sunshine must have asked you something that I missed. I'm sorry. Making you happy doesn't always mean I was happy. What? Oh, I'm so jealous you guys have kids. I want kids. Maybe I'll settle for a puppy.
Waste your energy chasing someone who's already left. Focus on what you can control. And that's processing your emotions and reminding yourself that you deserve someone who treats you with respect. Bye.
Bye.
Now, in both of these situations, whether it's work, dating, or anything else, when you say let them, you're recognizing what's in your control and what isn't. Instead of spiraling, you're choosing to steady yourself and detach. As I said earlier, other people hold no real power over you unless you give them that power. Every time you say let them, you take your power back. Or take me in the situation on the couch. I wasn't even aware that my friends had gone away together. The second I saw the photos from their trip online, though, I reacted. My emotions took over. That's what made me feel insecure and left out and less than. And then, of course, I had to take it a step further and just start trashing myself and telling myself that I had done something wrong, which, of course, that makes you feel good. If I'm being dead honest with myself, I did it to myself. My friends didn't do anything to me. They're just living their lives. They're allowed to go away. They're allowed to plan a weekend with whomever they want. And they're allowed to plan a weekend without me. The way I reacted to their trip is what hurt me. And this is a very, very important nuance to understand. And I really want to unpack this with you in detail. This moment where you realize how your reaction either hurts or empowers you. And so I'm going to bring in a visual to help you really understand what's happening when you say let them and when you say let me, and why this is working so well when you do. And I want to use the visual of a seesaw on a playground, okay? Where you're on one end and someone else is on the other end, and you go up and you go down, and you go up and you go down, because this visual of a seesaw is going to help us explain the power dynamic between you and other people and how it goes up and down, and how you can use the let them theory whenever you feel you've just lost your power. So whenever someone does something that just bothers you or frustrates you or makes you hurt, or stresses you out, whether it's planning something and not including you, or passing you over for an opportunity that you wanted, or just saying something rude, you're either going to act in a positive or a neutral way. Now, if you react negatively and you start to have self-destructive thoughts or heavy emotions, like I did on the couch, those heavy emotions, what do? They weigh you down. When you feel rejected and upset, it brings you down. And if you really think about it, your reaction is what tips the scales and changes the dynamic between you and someone else. And so I want to explain this seesaw with the example of me simply seeing my friends going away online. The second I saw that photo, I felt inferior. I felt jealous. I felt insecure. I felt left out. I felt less than. I felt those things.
Mm-hmm.
It created heaviness in me. And just like a seesaw tips down to the ground, that's what I did to myself. And anytime you internalize other people's thoughts, actions, or feelings as evidence that somehow you're a bad person, or your ideas are dumb at work, or that you've done something wrong, or your mother's bad mood is your fault, you just give power to the other person. And it shifts the dynamic and balance in the relationship, and you start to feel beneath them. And that's exactly.
No, I agree. I don't believe that any of you guys have adult children. I don't. I mean, I know you do, but I don't believe you. You must have had them when you were 10.
Exactly what happened when I started to say to myself, oh my God, I had done something wrong. I was left out intentionally. Feeling inferior and jealous and insecure, those thoughts and emotions, they're heavy. That's what tipped the scales. It seemed to make my friends go up. All of a sudden, I'm not having a fun Saturday noon on the couch. I feel like I'm at the bottom of a seesaw looking up at people that are superior to me. Well, that's before the let them theory. What happens when you say let them is you free yourself from the weight of all the negativity that just made you sink. As soon as you say, let them go away, let them not include me, let them have fun without me, you just feel lighter. It's almost like pushing off the ground on a seesaw, right? What happens? You go up, your friends go down. Now you're the one up there. You're the one looking down on your friends. The power dynamic shifts when you say, let them. You start to feel superiority. You start to detach from those negative emotions of jealousy. Let them. It gives you this kind of false sense of control. That's why people love saying, let them. Because when you're up, you feel superior and you push through these heavy emotions and you rise up, and this is automatically going to make you feel better than anyone else. You're going to feel wiser. You're going to feel above everyone, which makes it easy to detach from this situation that just bothered you. It helps you move through the situation and accept what's happening. It's going to help you process that painful experience. Let them. Now look, a little superiority, it goes a long way when you're in an emotional spiral.
Mm-hmm.
But then that moment of saying, let them, it's over. And then you're going to think, okay, well, now what? And you're going to be sitting up there looking down on other people, and you're going to start to feel stranded in your superiority. And that's exactly what happened to me. You know, after I started saying, let them, I didn't really know what to do after I said it either. Because saying it and getting that jolt of superiority, it feels good, and detaching from the emotion feels great. But that's the easy part. I didn't know what to do next. And that's the danger of only saying, let them. If all you ever do is say, let them, let them, let them, it will lead you to feeling more isolated in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It will make you want to withdraw or shut down. And that's exactly what the old Mel Robbins would have done with the situation with my friends. If I had just stopped at the let them go away. I don't want to be on that trip anyway.
That's what I do. I will just leave. I will stop talking and leave.
Imagine it now. I would have just sat there in my superiority. I wouldn't have reached out. And I probably would have gossiped about them behind their backs with other friends that weren't there. And then I would have felt very awkward every time I saw them. And keep in mind, these are people I like and I want to be friends with. I want you to stop and think about a situation where you see friends of yours going out and doing something without you. When it happens, it hurts. It always hurts to be excluded. Heck, maybe it's your siblings that aren't including you. And you want to be included on the golf trip. You want to be invited over to watch the game. You want to go away for the weekend. I mean, would it be fun to go out for drinks with your cool coworkers? You want to have great, fun friendships. And I want that for you too. So let me ask you a question. How exactly is feeling morally superior going to help you create those great friendships? It's not. Saying let them just relieves you of the hurt and pain you feel, but only momentarily. And look, it feels amazing to blame other people. And it feels awesome to think you're better than other people. But as your friend, I am obligated to warn you that if all you do is say, let them, you will find yourself without a lot of friends, without a lot of social plans. And you're going to be confused as to why the theory isn't working in your favor. And that brings me to a major discovery that I made when I first started researching the theory. Saying let them is just the first half of the equation, and you cannot stop there. There is a second critical part to the theory. Let me. The source of your power is not in managing other people. It's in managing your response. When you say, let me, you're tapping into that power by taking responsibility for what you do, think, or say next. Let me is the part where you realize you are in control of what happens next, and that life is way more fun and fulfilling when you're not sitting alone on your couch in your superiority. Let me is the power move. That's why the theory only works if you say both parts. When you say let them, you make a conscious decision to not allow others' behavior to bother you. When you say let me, you take responsibility for what you do next. What I love about let me is that it immediately shows you what you can control. And there's always so much you can control. You can control your attitude, your behavior, your values, your needs, your desires, and what you want to do in response to what just happened. Let me is the opposite of judgment. Let me is self-awareness, compassion, empowerment, and personal responsibility. Your friends who went away aren't better than you, and you're not better than them. This is the crux of the let them theory. Let them and let me. And the more you allow people to live their lives, the better your life will get. The more control you give up, the more you will gain. Because the let them theory is not about superiority at all. It's about balance. It's about making room for both you and someone else. It's about giving other people the space and the grace to live their lives, and then giving yourself the same.
Did that hurt anybody else, or is that just me? Did anybody else feel that good kick in the crotch, or was that just me?
Let me take the example of my spiral around my friends going away for the weekend. First, I said let them, which helped me rise above the situation and the hurt that I felt. And saying let them helped me separate myself from the emotions I was feeling. And that's the first step, because getting all emotional and spiraling and then blaming other people or trashing yourself, it's not going to magically improve your friendships. The superiority gave me the mental space to really look at the situation from above. And the more I said let them, the more space I had to consider my role in this situation. And more importantly, what do I want to do about this? And when I stopped to look in the mirror, I saw a lot. I had been so busy working these past few years, I've barely seen my friends. I hadn't invited anyone to do anything in a very long time. Maybe I wasn't excluded. Maybe they didn't think of me at all.
It is a really great point, right? To give them space and grace. Because sometimes we just do one. I am notorious for just giving space. You want to disrespect me? Great. Goodbye. Like, there will not be a single word that comes out. I will just walk away. Yes, especially the giving myself grace part. I would imagine, well, for me, it's the hardest part. So I would imagine that it's the same for a lot of other people. Giving yourself grace through the situation is hard, especially when we're so used to controlling everything except the outcomes. The only thing we can't control is the outcome.
And if I'm not making an effort or reaching out or bumping into them around the neighborhood, why would they think of me? Plus, I've been so busy with my life and work and kids, unless I saw my old friends post online, I didn't think about them much either. No one owes me an invite. No one owes me a call. And yes, you deserve friends who reach out. But whose responsibility is it to create those friendships? And more importantly, let me be honest with myself. Have I been doing my part? And when I detached from my emotions and I stopped to ask myself that question, have I been doing my part? The answer was no. When you're an adult, your social life is your responsibility. If you want more fun, you should get your butt off the couch and create a great social life. And yes, I'm talking to myself here too. Let me stop expecting other people to include me. Let me take responsibility for what I want in life. Let me figure out the deeper issue that I need to look at. Let me be more proactive about reaching out to people. Let me invite people to do something this weekend. Let me throw a party for once. Let me develop better boundaries with work so I actually have time for friendship. Let me prioritize my social life because clearly it matters to me because I'm upset on the couch, but it's my responsibility to create one.
Exactly.
Let me reach out to a few of these women to reconnect, not in a passive way, not to smooth things over, not to get an invite to their next getaway, but because once I said let them and let me, I rose above my emotion and I connected with the deeper truth that I actually really miss a few of these women. And seeing that post online made me realize that I work way too much and I want to make an effort to rekindle my friendship with them and a few other people now that I'm thinking about it.
Sad.
And that's the power of this. Before the let them theory, I would have felt powerless. I would have given that one photo so much control over how I felt about myself for weeks, maybe even months. It would have impacted the way I felt about other people. The let them theory changed all that. By saying let them, I could detach from the spiral and let other people live their lives. And by saying let me, I could see that I actually had a lot of power.
Mhm.
And there were limitless things that were within my control if I chose to do them. Now, after discovering the second part of the theory and the power of saying let me, and focusing on what's in your control and taking responsibility for what you do in response to what's happening around you, my research led me to something even more exciting. And that is that the let them theory isn't just this mindset hack. Based on the research that I've done, it is deeply rooted and supported by ancient philosophies and psychological concepts that have guided people for centuries. If you're familiar with Stoicism, Buddhism, detachment theory, or radical acceptance, you're going to recognize that saying let them and then saying let me, it applies these teachings and turns them into a practical everyday tool that you can use to reclaim your personal power.
That balance is tough. That's why I joined a community. It's my responsibility to make friends with the thought of not everyone is going to care like you do, Felicia, and that is okay. It is okay. And I will be the first person to tell you, well, you know, because I really was the first person who told you when you start your channel, understand that you are going to support people who don't support you back. And that is okay. If you want to give them your support, do it. There's no need for reciprocal support. If they want to, they will. If they don't, they won't. It does not mean that what they give you isn't valuable enough to walk away from. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But you, Felicia, are doing an amazing job, and I'm so proud of you. Yeah, the ones who do get my whole heart. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I'm about 20 minutes behind. This chapter don't worry. It brings up a lot for all of us, really. But hello, Sandra. I was wondering where you were. We missed you. This chapter brings up a lot of feelings for me. I feel excluded all the time and I don't know how to be included. I don't know how either. I'm sorry. I wish I had some advice for that because I don't have any idea. I have no clue. I have to work on that concept. Yes, we all do. I think it sounds like we all are feeling a lot of connection to what she's saying because we do it the same thing, right? Like we go through that too. And so I wish I really, really, really wish I knew how to help you feel included. I don't have any idea, but I do know that you are worth it. You are valuable. Your friendship is amazing. And anybody who is blessed enough to have a piece of that, they're very lucky. They're very, very lucky. You are such a sweet and caring person. I would be sad if you left me. Don't ever leave me.
It moves the intellectual into the tactical. That's why this is so powerful. So before we jump into the 8 core areas of your life that you're going to be using the let them theory, let's just take a second and dive a little deeper into how the theory is supported by things like Stoicism. In Stoicism, the focus is on controlling your own thoughts and actions, not the thoughts or actions of others. Now, this philosophy aligns perfectly with saying let them, which is about consciously allowing others to make their own choices and to live their lives without feeling the need to manage or influence their behavior. By saying let them and then saying let me, what you're doing is you're applying the core principle of Stoicism in real time. And that core principle is focus on yourself, because that's where your true power lies. Two other important foundational philosophies and psychological teachings kept coming up over and over and over, and that's Buddhism and radical acceptance, both of which teach that suffering comes from resisting reality. The pain you feel often stems from wishing things were different than they are. The let them theory helps you not only accept reality, but also it's a tool that helps you separate.
That one was really hard for me. The pain you feel, I forgot what it said, the words. Hold on. Let's go back.
Because that's where your actions, these teachings, and turns them into a practical everyday tool that you can use to reclaim your personal power. It moves the intellectual into the tactical. That's why this is so powerful. So before we jump into the 8 core areas of your life that you're going to be using let them theory, let's just take a second and dive a little deeper into how the theory is supported by things like Stoicism. In Stoicism, the focus is on controlling your own thoughts and actions, not the thoughts or actions of others. Now, this philosophy aligns perfectly with saying let them, which is about consciously allowing others to make their own choices and to live their lives without feeling the need to manage or influence their behavior. By saying let them and then saying let me, what you're doing is you're applying the core principle of Stoicism in real time. And that core principle is focus on yourself, because that's where your true power lies. Two other important foundational philosophies and psychological teachings kept coming up over and over and over, and that's Buddhism and radical acceptance, both of which teach that suffering comes from resisting reality. The pain you feel often stems from wishing things were different than they are.
That right there. The pain you feel often stems from wishing things are different than they are. Either make the changes that need to be made in order to create reality right now so that it matches what you want it to be so that you're no longer hurt, right? i.e., Delilah doesn't like being fat. She doesn't like feeling sick. She doesn't like feeling alone. She doesn't like not being able to do things. She doesn't like walking around and being out of breath. She wants things to be different. And instead of being angry or hurt or whatever, because that was my reality, I started making changes. So that my reality soon enough, even though it wasn't going to change this moment, it was going to change tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and forevermore, right? Because I didn't want to still be stuck in the feelings that I'm having right now, I started to make the changes that I needed to make in order to get myself healthy. Yes, facing reality. It's hard every day, but we do have the power to change it. Yes, we do. We don't have the power to change today, but we have the power to change tomorrow. Or maybe later today, but not right now. You know, we're all changing our realities. Yes. And I'm so very proud of each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. You all are doing such an amazing job. I love learning about your guys' stories. I love hearing about what you guys have gone through and what you guys are doing to make changes in your life, what you were suffering through and couldn't deal with anymore. So you changed things in your life in an uncomfortable way. It's uncomfortable to make changes. It was easier for me to stay 483 pounds than it was for me to become whatever weight I am today. It was easier to do that. But even though it may have been easier in some aspects, it wasn't easier in here. And because it wasn't easier in here, here we are. Hey, Mary. Sometimes you don't know where to start to make the change, or you do try, but nothing changes. This is true, but that just means whatever we're trying isn't working, so we got to try something else. Not everything is going to work for everybody. We're not all going to have the same response to different changes in our lives that we hoped for, right? Or that other people respond well to. But we just have to keep trying other things. I lost 115 pounds by myself in 5 months before I ever needed to start implementing other things into my life, right? I mean, except for the mental health stuff. The mental health stuff is what came before anything else started for me. And then that last 5 pounds took 6 flipping months. And then a whole year, nothing. Nathan for a whole year. If I would have just kept doing the exact same thing and never looked for answers, I would have been stuck at 364 pounds. I never would have moved forward. Because even though it worked for the first 120 pounds, it wasn't working for the next. So I had to change things. I had to change my approach. And praise God that I was able to get the homie. Because the homie and me, we got it. We're rocking and rolling. Let's go. Let's go. But I believe that everybody can change things in their life if they make the effort. And it may not always be the effort that your neighbor was able to change their life doing, but you could still do it. You could still do it. You could still do it. True, Mary, but GLP-1s helped us with that. Yes, for a lot of us, GLP-1s was the answer to at least get this ball rolling, to at least do that. This chapter is what made me reach in the chat for the first time. I want these relationships and they will not happen if I don't put the effort. Exactly. I have no friends in real life because I live 1,700 miles away from all of the friends that I've made throughout my life, right? I have not one single friend in real life that I did not make here, local, right? Local. I made friends with Harji, but because of this channel, I decided I don't have friends. I'm going to find some. So here we are. And for me, I'm in a unique position where I know most of you do not have the same position as me, where I can go to you. I could come stalk you in real life. I don't have to do it just here on the internet. I could come find you at home because I could fly for free. Yes, try something different, even if it means trying 1,000 different things or a million different things or however many things. Exactly. Because something is bound to work. We just haven't found it yet. Diamonds are made under pressure. True. But can we just back off just a little bit? Just a little bit. I'm not talking about physical. I'm talking about loss. I'm on Zepbound, but I am still grieving. No, I understand. I'm not talking about anything in particular. I'm not talking about physical weight loss either. I'm talking about anything, right? Like, we all grieve differently. But what worked for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. There are people, their entire worlds end when a loss happens and they cannot move forward. But you know what? All they're doing is hurting themselves. That's it. That's all they're doing is hurting themselves because they're not able to find something that works. I'm not saying that grief isn't gonna hurt and gonna creep up and it comes and goes, right? Some days are gonna be worse than others. And I understand that in the really bad days, we may not be able to do much, but you're going to have a day that isn't as bad. It may still not be great. It may not be a good day, but it is a better day than yesterday, hopefully. I wish that there was a manual on how to handle change in life, good, bad, or ugly, right? I wish there was a manual, and I wish that it worked the same for every single person on earth, because it would make it easier, but there isn't. And we have to find what works for us. And what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa. Yes, Stock Mirror. Oh, girl, don't tell me twice. I got your address. Clearly, we want change in our life, and we started within ourselves. GLP-1 is just an example of embracing the change. Exactly. One step in the right direction. Welcome back, Johnny. Well, I don't know what comment. There were so many comments. I don't know which one you're talking about for Felicia, but Felicia's always right. So I want the right friends in my life. Exactly. I'm not chasing just empty friendships. I'm chasing meaningful relationships, right? I don't have enough left in me to give away to meaningless friendships, to empty ones. I just don't. I just don't have enough left in me. I need people in my life who are going to give me what I'm giving them. May not be the exact same thing because obviously we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, but I need you to give me what, at least the same effort, you know? And of course, we're all going to have good days and bad days, right? Like I may not be able to give you the same effort today that I could of yesterday or tomorrow, you know? But as long as there is meaningful effort on both sides, then that's a relationship that I want to cultivate. Open your heart to the world like you have opened it to the one you lost, and you will find every reason to keep living in it. Felicia, I see quotes, so I know you got it from somewhere, but I don't know where, and I love that. GLP-1's got us to find each other, and I love that. Exactly. Me too. Don't gotta tell me twice, babe girl. I just stalk you on here until we plan our group trip. And that's okay. If that's what works, then it's what works. Thank you. I'm at the zoo for the kids. I love the zoo. Which zoo are you at? The San Diego Zoo is one of my favorite zoos, but I don't think you're in the San Diego Zoo. Which zoo are you at? Not really the zoo. Oh, but loud is one. I'm getting a workout. Okay, never mind. I take it back. That's not the zoo I like. It's raining cats and dogs. Aww. That's what my cousin was telling me, that in Northern California too, it's raining. I have caught up listening at double speed. Hello, in real time, friends. Hello. Exactly. Meaningful relationships. Yes, yes. And ride or die, baby. Ride or die. Me too. The San Diego Zoo is awesome. I love it. Mary, I know that what you're going through isn't easy. I know that. A lot of you guys here are dealing with some really painful loss. Many of you are still grieving the loss of many close loved ones. And I wish that I had an answer for you on how to move through it. Because I'm not telling you to get over it. I would never say that. I don't think anybody is ever going to get over true loss, right? But I want you to have more good days than bad. My prayer for you is that you have more good days than bad. For some reason, I thought we were on Felicia's channel this week. My brain is not here. Don't worry, my brain's not either. No, probably because it's chapter 2, and usually, well, you would think that I would have done chapter 1, but since we had the last minute live with Sweet Tea last week, Felicia graciously took over chapter 1, so I'm doing chapter 2. She'll do chapter 3, so I guess we're odds and evens. So next week it'll be on Felicia's channel. Wait, what? It helps me think of what they would have wanted for me. Yes, because like Mary, Nicole's dealing with loss too, right? It wasn't her spouse, but she's dealing with the loss of her mother. And I know Felicia is dealing with the loss of her mother. And I know that Michelle is dealing with the loss of her husband and her partner. We're all dealing with the loss of someone except me, because I've never been connected to people like that. I mean, I'm not trying to say it in a bad way, but the reality is, if my dad died today, I don't know that I would care. And I don't mean it like that, because I would care if the neighbor died. I don't care who you are. It hurts me to know that somebody's life is no longer here with us, right? but I don't know him. So if my mother died, that's another story because I know my mom, but I don't know my dad. You know, I have his phone number, I know his name, but that's all. That's all I know. If I saw my father walking on the street, I have always said this. If I saw my father walking on the street, I would not know that I would know him. I really do not think, I think I would walk past him and never even think twice. I could have walked past my father earlier today and I would not have known. It just is what it is. But loss is hard. It's not easy. But whatever you're trying, tweak it a little bit every time until something starts to click. And then you say, okay, wait, maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe I'm onto something. Sandra, you can go to my channel anytime though. You've experienced loss and currently. No, I have, but not that kind of loss, you know? Not that kind of loss. And the way that I told you guys when my grandma, you guys know my grandma just recently died. My dad's mom recently died. I didn't know her either. I knew her name mostly. I know she died only because my cousin reached out to me and told me. I know nothing else, right? I know what she looked like. She looked the same my whole life. She was always old my whole life. And I know that. I don't know that I would have really recognized. I mean, I don't think I would have believed it was her if I was walking past her because she'd have no business being here. But when that happened, I didn't grieve the loss of her necessarily because I didn't know her like that. But I grieved the loss of what could have been, right? I could have had a relationship with this woman the way that most people have relationships with their grandparents, but she chose not to have that with me. And I couldn't change that. So I grieved the loss of that. And I grieved the loss of relationship with my grandfather, who also I didn't know like that. You know what I mean? And then I think I grieved a little bit the loss of my dad, which is still a living person, but I don't know him. He doesn't want to, he don't want to be in my life. It is what it is. You know, I'm not going to chase him. I'm not. I spent most of my life chasing him. He doesn't want me to chase him. He's made it clear. Yes, everyone's loss is so sad. It makes my heart hurt when you think of them. A smile. What? Wait. When you think of them, a smile come to your face. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I like to think, okay, I know you guys know that I've dealt with a lot of violent losses in my life, right? Like some of you know what happened with my mother, you know, what my dad did to my mom. And I don't think you guys know much about anybody else, right? But I have 3 other cousins, no, 2 cousins, 1 uncle, who were all taken in the same way. So my mom, my 2 cousins, and my uncle, all the same way, right? I mean, my mom wasn't taken, but you know what I mean. All of their passings were done the exact same way. My cousin was on Mother's Day, and my other cousin was on Christmas Eve. One was done in a gas station, and the other one was done in his home in the backyard with his whole entire family there, including his children, by his brother-in-law. And then my uncle, it was done by the police department. But violent loss is really scary. But it's different, right? It's different than natural loss, I guess. I mean, I don't think that everybody dies naturally, but you know what I mean? Like, it's different. And so for me, I like to forget. I like to pretend it didn't happen. And for us, for my family, every single loss that we've had has been on some sort of holiday or celebration, right? My little brother, his grandma died on his birthday, and then my grandpa died on Father's Day. No, my grandma died on Father's Day, and then my uncle died on Thanksgiving. My other uncle was on the 4th of July. My cousin was on Mother's Day. The other cousin was on Christmas Eve. And then his funeral was on New Year's Day. And then my mom, that happened to her on her parents' anniversary. And it was Easter weekend. So it's like everything has been, and then my mom's husband got into this really bad motorcycle accident and broke his back. It was in the hospital and nobody can find him on my birthday, right? So it's like a lot of good and bad on the same day, right? So it's really hard sometimes to celebrate these things. I know like Felicia has a hard time in October. I know that Nicole has a hard time in February. My family has a hard time on holidays. It's not always easy. It really isn't. But celebrating their lives and their memories make things a little bit easier. And it makes it a little bit easier every day to get through things when you can celebrate at least the memories, right? So that's got to be hard. I'll keep you in my prayers. Oh, thank you. I don't really think too much about it anymore. Of course, when it first happened, yeah, but now it's kind of like, it's sad to think about, but I don't really think about it. Because I'm a runawayer. I like to run away from my problems. May never get to acceptance. My hope is peace of mind, heart, and soul. Exactly. Like, I'm not asking anybody to accept it. I'm only asking people to not stop trying. Don't stop trying. Just don't stop trying. I hope so. I hope that celebrating their lives helps. I do. I hope so. And the good things in their lives, and the bad things, and the funny things. I especially like the funny things. Like for me, I like to think about how when he was younger. Yeah, he was the youngest. When my youngest cousin passed away, a few things happened. But my little brother was like 3 years old, right? And he didn't really read yet or write yet because he's 3. But he knew how to spell his own name and he knew how to read the word free. One day he was sitting at the computer. Over and over and over and over, we called my cousin Pelon. And over and over and over and over, he was writing Pelon, typing it over and over and over. And I'm like, he don't know how to spell. First of all, how did he know how to spell it? How is that the word he knows how to spell? He knows how to spell his name and he knows how to spell Pelon. And he's sitting there over and over and over and over and over writing it. And then my mom and him and my brother left. I don't remember where they went, but I was like, okay, they left. And then I was getting ready, right? And then my aunt called and she was flipping out, the mother of him. And she called flipping out. And I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, the eulogy, we didn't know we had to write it. Somebody has to write it. Please write it. And I was like, me? Okay. And they're like, it needs to be done by 3:00. And it was like, I don't know, noon, right? And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I'm sitting there and everybody's gone. That's why I didn't leave with them, because I'm just, okay, let's write it. So I'm writing the eulogy. I'm writing the obituary. That's what it is. I'm writing the obituary. Right? And suddenly I start hearing a bunch of noise and I'm like, nobody's home. It's just me. We don't have pets and my family's gone. What's going on? So I get up and I go to the backyard and I close the sliding glass door and I lock it and I see there's a bunch of men in my backyard and I'm like, okay, something is going on. So I walk to the front door, but I don't have time to investigate. I go to the front door and there's a man at my door and he's with his hand like this. He was ready to knock. And I had opened the door on him. And he was like, oh. And I was like, can I help you? And it was a man dressed in all black with a shield on his head. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I heard helicopters and I was like, uh-oh. And he told me, you have two choices. Are you here alone? No, he goes, are you here alone? Yes. Okay, you have two choices, because I see police cars now, right? And he goes, you have two choices. One, lay down on the floor, away from the windows, or leave. Those are your two choices. But you got 1 minute to decide. And I said, I'm out of here. Peace. And I ran to my car and I drove away to my aunt's house because I have to go get this obituary to them. And as this is all happening, I'm like, what in the world is going on? And then they start shutting down my street. And I'm like, okay. So then when I get to my aunt's house, I'm in a panic, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I hope I remembered everything. And I'm telling them what happened. And my uncle looked at me and he goes, what? And I tell him again, he goes, I know why they're there. And I'm like, why? He was like, they found him. They found the person who did this. And I was like, how is that even possible? In my backyard? What was he doing in my backyard? And my uncle was like, they found him. I know it. And it turns out they actually had. That guy was hiding out at his uncle's house, and his uncle shared our backyard fence, was our backyard fence to his backyard fence. And they jumped our fence to go get him. So my uncle was right. They did find him. That was him. But why did I get on that story? I don't know. I don't remember what triggered that story, but funny memories. To me, that's not funny, but to me, it's just a memory that we often will talk about. Like, you guys remember when this happened? And because it was kind of scary too, right? Because I'm just here and I'm like, what's going on? But I'm really numb to firearms now, so they don't bother me. So I see all these men in my backyard with them, and they didn't bother me. Me and my dad tell jokes about my mom all the time now, but a year ago, I couldn't do that. And I'm blessed that we can now. Exactly. And you know what? It took you a year. It might take somebody else 5. But don't stop trying. That's the whole point, I think, that I'm trying to get at, is don't stop trying. Hey, Sydney, how are you? Oh, thank you. Plan to pass through, but I've been attentively listening for the past 35 minutes. Very interesting book. It's a great book. It's a really, really great book. And I'm so glad that we're doing this. It's a really long book, the way that we're doing it, because we're doing a chapter a week. So it's going to take 20 weeks, but that's okay. It's a really good book. And it does, Felicia, even telling funny stories, I usually start crying, even though I'll be laughing. Exactly, because it still hurts. It still hurts to think about, but it's incredibly freeing to still be able to just sort of sit in the memories for a while, at least to me it is. Okay, guys, we got 10 more minutes of this. No. Yeah, almost 10 more minutes.
The let them theory helps you not only accept reality, but also it's a tool that helps you separate yourself from the need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you acknowledge that other people's actions and choices are not yours to control, in doing so, you reclaim your emotional freedom. This is radical acceptance in its most empowering form. Another concept that kept coming up over and over again is detachment theory, which is a psychological principle that teaches you how to emotionally distance yourself from situations that may trigger you or make you feel out of control. So when you say, let them, you're practicing emotional detachment. And one of the reasons why I love this is because oftentimes, I don't know about you, but these concepts and philosophies and psychological modalities, they're so intellectual that I understand them, but I don't know how to apply them. And that's why the let them theory is so powerful. It's a tool. When you say let them, you create a mental gap between your
Too bad, so sad, you're in it now.
emotions and the situation at hand. And that allows you to observe what's happening without being consumed by it. The result, you remain calm, clear-headed, and in control of what you do next. And that is exactly what detachment theory is trying to teach you. But it's the let them theory that will help you apply it. I love this. And one more thing I wanted to say, because I saw this coming up a lot in the research too, and that is this concept of just letting it go. For me personally, the let them theory is not at all the same thing as, quote, letting it go. And here's why. I've personally never been able to let anything go. Because when I say, oh, just let it go, Mel, it never feels resolved or
Nope.
complete.
Yep.
It kind of feels like you've just walked away from something that's bothering you and you've swallowed your feelings and you've moved on because you have no choice but to do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Sure
When you
do.
say let them, it's different. Because when you say let them, you're not giving up or walking away. I heard somebody say, it's almost like you're allowing it, but you're not allowing it. And that's right. Because what you're truly doing is you're freeing yourself from it. You're releasing that grip that you have on how things should go and allowing them to unfold as they will go.
Mm-hmm.
And that is way more empowering than just going, all right, I'll just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. We're going to let them. Boom. The beauty of the let them theory is that it helps you master and apply these practices in real time in your day-to-day life by simply saying 2 words, let them, or saying, let me. I mean, it's just extraordinary. And that means something really cool. You can finally stop being ruled by your emotions and start living a more peaceful and intentional life. I mean, doesn't that sound good? Of course it does. I'll tell you what else, though. It feels even better. Now, before we dive in and go further, 2 warnings. As I was researching this book, 2 really important questions kept coming up repeatedly from people who were learning about the let them theory online and who were starting to apply it. And so I want to address them right now before we dive into the rest of the book, where we look at 8 different areas of your life where you're going to use the let them theory for the greatest impact. Now, the first question that people kept asking was, Mel, does the let them theory apply to kids? The answer is yes. You can absolutely use the let them theory with your kids with some very important caveats. But this book is specifically focused on how you apply the theory with adults and in adult relationships. Now, throughout the book, I make very clear distinctions between adults and children in order to avoid any confusion. But if you're looking for more guidance on how to use this approach with children, teens, and young adults, because let's face it, you can't just let them or else they're going to be running in the middle of the streets and eating popsicles for dinner. You got to be the adult. But it does apply and it can help you create deeper and more loving relationships with your kids. So I've included a very special guide in the appendix at the end of the book that will break this down in detail for you. The second question that I kept seeing is, what do I do if I'm using the let them theory and it's making me feel lonely? Now, this is a really critical point that I wanted to highlight because some people have shared that they feel lonelier after using the let them theory. If you're feeling this way, it's a sign of 2 things. Number 1, you're applying the theory incorrectly because the let them theory has 2 essential steps. The first step, saying let them. The second step, you got to say let me, because let me is where your power lies. Let me is where you see that you're responsible for your next move. And let me is where you see all of the things that you could do that are going to help you create the life or the relationships or the connections that you want. And without this step, you will find yourself disconnected rather than feeling empowered. If all you do is say let them, you're going to find yourself without a lot of friends, without a lot of social plans, and you're going to be confused. Why isn't this working? And there's one other twist to this that I also want to highlight. And that is your behavior with people that you care about. Because let them is also not an excuse to stop answering your phone or to shrug your shoulders or to refuse to talk it out with a friend or a family member who's hurt. It's never an excuse to say let them and stay in a situation that hurts you or to ignore discrimination or dangerous behavior. Let them is not a license to give someone the silent treatment or ghost people or avoid hard conversations or withdraw from your relationships, because it's not meant to leave you feeling alone or invisible. And it's not an excuse to avoid the hard conversations, because it's meant to leave you more connected and more fulfilled in every single one of your relationships. The theory is here to make your life better, not worse. And it will when you use it correctly. So I'm going to remind you one last time. Always remember to say, let me, because that's the part that changes your life and makes your relationships better. And this was something I had to learn, because when I started using the let them theory, I saw how often I blamed someone else for the fact that I was alone sitting on my couch or not making the money I wanted to make, or how often I said yes due to guilt and then was mad at the person for making me feel guilty because I didn't want to disappoint someone else, or how often I used the excuse of being too tired to make my health or fun a priority. The let them theory taught me that when you're an adult, your life and your happiness and health, healing, social life, friendships, boundaries, needs, success, they are all your responsibility. If you've been secretly hoping someone else would come and rescue you, fix your problems, pay your bills, create a social life, heal your wounds, change into your dream partner, or motivate you to be your best, it's not going to happen. No one is coming. And anytime you spend blaming other people or waiting for permission or some invitation to come, wasted. Those days are over. Got it? Good.
Over.
Because now that I've given you the warning, let me give you the great news. Your life is going to change, and it's going to change immediately, because the let them theory is the key to taking your power back. So let me tell you what's going to happen with the rest of the book. The rest of the book is divided into 2 big sections. And the one we're about to jump into is all about you and the let them theory, and how you have created 4 major obstacles that are standing in the way of all your success, your health, your happiness, and your dreams. The second half of the book is dedicated to using the let them theory to improve your relationships. In the next 2 chapters, we're going to focus on how you've allowed other people to create unnecessary stress in your life. And I'm going to teach you, using the let them theory and some incredible research from an amazing physician at Harvard Medical School, to stop allowing other people's behaviors, opinions, drama, etc. to stress you out. Because you, my friend, have way bigger fish to fry. And learning to manage your stress, it's not only the easiest way to learn how to use the let them theory, it's also the fastest way to learn how to protect your peace and find more power. So let's jump in.
Okay, so that was chapter 2. You know, when I first offered this book in the poll to see which books you guys wanted to do, I didn't look at how many chapters there were. I didn't think about it. I just didn't think about it. And I said, I've listened to this book before. It's fine. I didn't realize there were 20 chapters, so I'm sorry, you guys. But now you got to stay. Too bad. You're already here. You're already here. You can't go nowhere. You're here forever. You're stuck. But for me, I think understanding that it's about control, which is also what I said the first chapter, has really like slapped me in the face, because I just never imagined that it was about needing to be in control. I already know that I'm controlling, but I didn't know that this was also part of that. And now understanding it, it really, really, really helps me to look at it differently, right? Like, I don't want to constantly be in control of everyone and everything and everyone's emotions, because then when they don't feel that great, I take responsibility for it and I feel bad. And I don't want to feel like that. I hope that if you guys also have those sort of feelings, because I assume that a lot of us deal with the same thing, then you understand that we're not responsible for how somebody else feels about us. We're not responsible for how they think we did something affects them. We are not responsible for how other people talk about us. We're not responsible for other people's decisions. We can only control our own. We can only treat them better than the way that they would treat you, right? And I'm not saying in like let them walk all over you. I'm just saying, if they are in a bad mood, if they feel hurt by you, if they feel whatever it is that they feel about you, do the best that you can to treat them the way that you want them to treat you. And if they do treat you that way forever, then walk away. But we all have bad days. And I understand that. And I try to give people grace, because I'm sure I do it to people too. Even if I don't mean to, right? We don't always do things that we like intended to do. Sometimes things go awry, and that's fine. As long as they are not treating you that way always. As long as you are not always in the doghouse with them for things that you didn't even do. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let them set boundaries that honor the wonderful you. Be your best friend. Yes. I don't have no friends except for me, so I might as well be good to me. Might as well be good to me. Great chapter. I'm enjoying the book. It's powerful that we have control over ourselves and how we show up or not. Let them. Or no, let me. Exactly. Like, I never realized I have that power. I have that power? You mean I don't have to feel this way? I can take it back? I could stop acting like a butthead because they hurt my feelings? And I can feel in control about that? Since when? Since when? I don't believe you. But you can. You can choose to let it go and move on from those feelings. Of course, not all feelings. And I'm not delusional to think that there's always going to be situations that you can quickly get yourself out of. But if you continue to apply it into your everyday life, then eventually it's going to be easier and easier and easier. Beavis and Butthead. Yes, I was a butthead for a long time. See, we all do it, whether we mean to or not. We all do it because somebody hurt our feelings. But it's like I said earlier, to me it reminds me a lot of unforgiveness, right? If we are unwilling to forgive somebody, we are only putting ourselves in a bad position. They probably don't even know that they wronged you. Wishing each of my pickle sisters the absolute best. Yes, pickles. You guys, I am a bad pickle eater. I didn't know yesterday was National Pickle Day. Why didn't I know that? Alonda texted me yesterday sometime. I was working and I ended up forgetting. She texted me to tell me Happy National Pickle Day. And I said, what? And I meant to post something. I was going to post something to you guys. And then I forgot because I was so busy working. And then right after work, I went running. Oh, I was on Felicia's live. And while I was in Amiga's live, I went running to Costco to get my medication. And I was stuck there for an hour. And then I had to go to Walmart and pick up an order. Then I had to go to Albertsons and pick up more medicine. Then I had to come home. And then I still had to make dinner. So it was a really, really long day. And then we had our members only live. And then I fell asleep on you guys. Sorry. But I promise to try harder on Monday. Yeah. See, how come I didn't know? How am I a bad pickle eater? Yes. It's National Pickle Day every day here. Yes. We love pickles. Pickles are life. And you know what? I'm a bad pickle eater again because I ran out of pickles. How do I run out of pickles? I don't know. But you guys, I've held you hostage for 2 hours. It was a great chapter. Thank you all for participating and for being here and for just being you. You're amazing. You are worth it. You deserve somebody to be there for you the way that you are for them. Whether that's romantic or platonic or mother-child, mother-mother, mother-grandmother, mother-uncle, doesn't matter. You deserve more. And you deserve better. And more importantly, you deserve to be healed. I wish I had an answer for you, Mary, and I'm so sorry that I don't. I'm so sorry that I don't. Aw, thank you, Evelyn. We love this book. Enjoyed this book so far. Thanks, everyone. Have a beautiful evening. You guys too. Sorry, my camera's in the way of the screen, so I have to lean over so I can read the comments. And thank you everyone for support and being vulnerable. Yes, that's what I love about this. This space, just you guys being willing to share your stories and share your life and being so vulnerable is what makes this place amazing. The best corner on the internet, if you ask me. Hey, Miss Nikki, how is Chicago? How much longer are you there? Thanks, ladies. I was bathing my daughter. I hope you were able to listen and tell little mama we said hi. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night. It's Saturday. I don't know why I keep thinking it's Friday. Yesterday I was thinking it was Thursday. I'm a whole day behind. I'm taking tomorrow off though. And instead I'm picking up Tuesday and Wednesday. But I'm taking tomorrow off. This way David and I can hang out a little bit, but I don't know. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. And I will see you guys soon, okay? Bye. Oh, see, look at that. See, I forgot. Day is also in Chicago. But sweet dreams, everyone. Well, I hope you're not. I mean, maybe you are going to bed now. I don't know. I'm not, even though I've been up since 3 a.m. I'm tired. But you guys energize me all the time. Look at, I'm asking Miss Nikki questions and I'm not even hanging around long enough to hear some answers. Have a good day off with David. Oh, thank you. He's being a little bit of a wiener. So we'll see how well that goes. But I have learned to let him let it out, to let him do what he needs to do and go from there. Oh, you're still there? Okay, good. Oh, another 2 weeks. Awesome. Super excited. Where do you wait? I know that you're visiting there and that's your home base. But where are you at normally? Because I have a problem saying goodbye. And I stall. I'm just curious because I'm nosy. I asked my cousin today, me and my cousin were texting, and I asked her, hey, does your mom still work? And she's all, yeah, why? I said, what do you mean why? Because I'm a nosy biatch. That's why. She just laughed. She was like, oh, yeah. Oh, you moved to North Carolina? Okay. I love North Carolina in pictures. I've never been there, but I think it's really pretty. And my brother was going to move to North Carolina or so. Which one is the American base? Whichever one is the American base. One of those. He was going to move there. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys soon. Chapter 3 will be on Felicia's channel next week. Amiga, are you going to put up your notifications soon? I mean, no pressure. I don't put mine up very early. But if you're going to put yours up soon, then I will share it over here too, so that everybody knows where to go. But next week is on Felicia's channel, Felicia Marie B, here on YouTube. Actually, are you still here? If you're still here, put your channel in the comments so people can find you if they need to. Most of your family's there. Yeah, all of my family's in California except for obviously me. But yeah, what can you do? Sometimes you just need to go somewhere and adventure out and see what's out in the world. But I will see you guys soon, okay? Sweet dreams.